Welcome to the Unbroken Mirror. Have you ever wondered who you truly are, beyond your name, your job, your relationships, or your thoughts? This is one of the oldest and most profound questions humanity has ever asked. And today, we're going to explore a fascinating answer provided by an ancient Indian philosophy called Advaita Vedanta. Stick around, because this might just change the way you see yourself and the entire universe. So, what exactly is Advaita Vedanta? Let's break it down. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas, which are ancient sacred texts of India. It represents the culmination, or the ultimate essence, of the wisdom found in those texts. The word Advaita literally translates to not to, or non-duality. So, Advaita Vedanta is the philosophy of non-duality. At its core, it makes a radical claim. Your true self, what's called the Atman, is identical to the ultimate reality of the universe, known as Brahman. In other words, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This idea can be a bit mind-bending at first. We experience ourselves as separate individuals, right? I'm me. You're you. We have our own bodies, our own minds, our own lives. Advaita Vedanta doesn't deny this everyday experience. It says this sense of separation is real on a practical, everyday level. But it's not the ultimate truth. It's like watching a movie. You see different characters, different scenes, a whole story unfolding. You might get emotionally invested. You might laugh or cry. But you know, on some level, that what you're watching is just light and shadow projected onto a screen. The screen is the one constant, unchanging reality upon which the entire movie plays out. In this analogy, the movie is our everyday world of names, forms, and experiences. This world is called Maya. Maya is a key concept. It's often translated as illusion, but that can be misleading. It doesn't mean the world isn't real. Your experiences of joy, pain, love, and loss are real to you. Maya is more like a veil of perception, or a cosmic magic show. It's a power that makes the one undivided reality of Brahman appear as this diverse, multifaceted universe of separate things and beings. It's what creates the illusion of me and you, this and that. The central goal of Advaita Vedanta is to lift this veil of Maya, to see through the illusion of separation and realize our true nature as Brahman. This isn't just an intellectual understanding. It's a direct, experiential realization. It is the difference between reading a travel guide about the Grand Canyon and actually standing at the edge, feeling the wind, and seeing its vastness for yourself. This realization is called moksha, which means liberation or freedom. It's freedom from the cycle of suffering, desire, and rebirth that comes from identifying with our limited, separate selves. When you realize you are the whole, what is there to want or fear? Now, you might be thinking, if I am Brahman, the ultimate, pure consciousness, why don't I feel like it? Why do I feel stressed about work, or sad when something goes wrong? According to Advaita, this is because of avidya, which means ignorance. It's not ignorance in the sense of being uneducated. It's a fundamental, spiritual ignorance of our true nature. We mistakenly identify with our body, our mind, and our ego. We think, I am this body, I am my thoughts, I am my emotions. Think of it like this. Imagine you fall asleep and have a dream where you're being chased by a tiger. Your heart pounds, you sweat, you feel genuine terror. In the reality of the dream, the danger is very real, but when you wake up, you realize it was all in your mind. The tiger, the chase, the fear. It was all a creation of your own consciousness. You, the dreamer, were never in any real danger. Advaita says our waking life is similar. We are the dreamer, the pure consciousness of Brahman, dreaming this dream of a separate self living in a separate world. Moksha, or enlightenment, is the process of waking up from this dream. So, how does one wake up? The path of Advaita Vedanta traditionally involves 3 stages. The first is Shravana, which means listening. This involves hearing the teachings from a qualified teacher and studying the sacred texts. It is about getting the intellectual framework right, understanding the core concepts of Atman, Brahman, and Maya. The second stage is Manana, which means reflection. This is a crucial step. It's not enough to just passively listen. You have to think deeply about the teachings. Question them, analyze them, and use your own logic to see if they make sense. Does the idea that I am consciousness hold up to scrutiny? You start to distinguish between what is permanent and what is changing. Your body changes. Your thoughts come and go. Your emotions fluctuate. But the I that is aware of all these changes, that awareness itself seems to be constant. This is the process of self-inquiry, famously phrased by the sage Ramana Maharshi as, who am I? The final stage is Nididhyasana, which means meditation or contemplation. After you've listened and reflected, you move beyond intellectual understanding to direct experience. This is where you meditate on the truth, Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am Brahman. The goal is to let this truth sink in so deeply that it becomes your living reality. Your mind becomes quiet, and the false identification with the ego begins to dissolve, revealing the boundless, peaceful awareness that you have always been. It's important to understand that Advaita Vedanta is not a religion in the typical sense. It doesn't require you to worship a specific deity or follow a rigid set of rules. It's a path of knowledge, or Jnana Yoga. The primary tool is wisdom and self-inquiry. It encourages you to use your own mind and your own experience as the ultimate laboratory for discovering the truth. The great philosopher Shankara, who systematized Advaita Vedanta in the 8th century, emphasized that direct experience is the highest authority. Now, let's bring this down to earth. How can these ancient ideas be relevant in our busy, modern lives? On a practical level, understanding Advaita can be incredibly transformative. When you start to disidentify from your fleeting thoughts and emotions, you create a space of inner peace. You realize you are not the anxiety you feel. You are the awareness that is aware of the anxiety. This simple shift in perspective can dramatically reduce stress and emotional reactivity. You can observe your thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them. It also changes how you relate to others and the world. If you see the same divine consciousness in everyone, how can you harbor hatred or judgment? It fosters a sense of deep connection and compassion. You begin to see the world not as a collection of separate, competing objects, but as a unified, interconnected whole. The person who cuts you off in traffic, the coworker who annoys you, the stranger on the street, they are all expressions of the same one reality. This doesn't mean you become a doormat, but your actions start to come from a place of understanding and love, rather than ego and fear. This journey is not about becoming someone new or better. It's about unbecoming everything you thought you were, to realize who you have always been. It's a process of subtraction, not addition. You're not trying to gain enlightenment. You're trying to remove the ignorance that hides the fact that you are already enlightened, already free, already whole. You are Brahman, pretending to be a person. The whole game is to remember who you really are. To summarize, Advaita Vedanta offers a profound vision of reality. It tells us that the universe is one undivided conscious existence called Brahman. Our individual self, the Atman, is not separate from this reality. The apparent separation we experience is due to Maya, a veil of illusion born from spiritual ignorance. The path to liberation, or moksha, is through knowledge by listening to the teachings, reflecting on their meaning, and meditating on the truth of our non-dual nature. This path isn't necessarily easy. It requires courage, persistence, and a deep desire for truth. But its promise is the greatest prize of all. Freedom from suffering and the discovery of our eternal, blissful nature. It's a journey from the head to the heart, from believing to knowing, from feeling like a wave to realizing you are the ocean. So, the next time you look in the mirror, maybe ask yourself, who is the one looking? Beyond the face, beyond the thoughts, beyond the story of your life, there is a silent, aware presence. That is the starting point of this incredible journey of self-discovery. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Advaita. I hope it's given you some food for thought. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Unbroken Mirror channel for more explorations into the world's great wisdom traditions. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.